Well, hopefully we're recording because welcome to Everyone Racers, a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture. It doesn't matter what kind of Lemma-Champ or Lucky Track Dog League you run. At CCA or NASA, we won't discriminate as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself. Join us each week for tech discussion, tips, tricks, news and notes in the world of amateur endurance racing, and whether it's on the spot, hella sweet, or we're lucky enough, and Chrissy gives us just a tip, we're sure you'll giggle a little and learn even less. Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Jeff.
Sorry. Excuse me. And I'm mental.
And that is Mental's mustache.
And now you've got to sanitize your car speakers. Sorry.
If you could see the mustache, you wouldn't be worried. So we are Everyone Racers, and thank you for coming back and listening to an H-rated tire episode of our podcast. It is 130. If you're not driving a car, don't forget your new and improved E1R bingo card. Link in the show notes. Click it. Take a picture if you get bingo. Tell us at what time in the show. Send it to our social media, and you will win absolutely nothing.
Hey, you know what? We have some koozies.
Donut.
I can sound some koozies.
All right, koozies.
Or if they come see us, at a paddock. We'll give them a beer if they send us an email. So they got bingo.
No, I don't want to give you beer.
I was going to say a hearty handshake, but no one wants that right now.
No one wants that right now.
Elbow bump?
Yeah. Exactly. A hearty elbow bump. We're totally down with it.
We'll heartily stay 6 feet away from you and say, nice job.
Well, other than social distancing, what are you working on, Chrissy?
Okay, sure. This weekend we did some car work. Chris is going to tell you a little bit more, but I changed the oil, tightened a fuel fitting, which forced me to take the million little bolts off the top of the cell. And I thought I did
in the Civic.
In the Civic, on the cell. I'm sorry, thank you for saying that, which car we're working on. I put them all back, and I thought I tightened it well enough, and then when I didn't, I had to take them all off again. So that's great. I had a great time doing that, and then now we're on quarantine, and we'll talk a lot more about that. But last week we decided, or actually my work was like, okay, well, next week we'll try working from home, and then Friday was like, you're never coming back into this building. So cool. We escaped a few times this weekend before things really got serious. Our county does not have any cases of the virus, so we decided to hit up some stores, and now we are properly quarantined. We're going to be here forever, and I might kill him soon.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Chrissy, you can't say those things in live, like in recordings. You've got to say that he came at you, and oh God.
Shoot.
Mike Carr, would you please call her and tell her how to do this properly?
I walked into a door. I swear.
I did.
I'm clumsy.
Yes, we're on day 2 of our actual quarantine because he went to work on Monday. So this is only day 3 of quarantine, but 2 in our house. Today I started making up my own Disney princess songs about how he won't let me out of the house, how he is a mean ogre, and
let's hear it. Oh God, come on, you can't.
Meanwhile,
threaten us with a song.
Let me go. Let me go.
You two know you're allowed to go outside, right?
Yeah. And
like,
meanwhile,
you just
I'm
can't
saying,
go to where there are people.
I'm saying, yes, please leave. Go outside.
That's not helping.
Okay, that's enough about me. Mental, what you working on?
So, like everybody else, we are dealing with an overloaded internet and an inability to do a lot of our job. I actually went to work every day this week, but I was one of 3 people, so today I didn't go. I did go outside for a run because you're allowed to do that, Chrissy. I just, ran around the big city block there.
I did that today.
Oddly enough, in anticipation of this, I spent a good bit of this weekend doing some prep work on the Toyota pickup. So I've ground the rust out of the bed, and I found some rust holes. So it's some of it, like where the water would pool, has actually eaten through the bed. I'm just going to weld that back up with a really ugly patchwork, and then coat the whole thing. Well, it's part the personality of the truck is that it's ugly, and then I'm going to do the whole thing in the Rhino line.
I was just commenting on your welding skills.
Yeah, and I want to be offended by that.
And patching sheet metal holes is really hard to do.
It is, but like everyone else, I've got some free time now, and maybe it's time to learn a new skill.
All right, here's a tip. Seriously, if it's a little hole that you have to fill, get a piece of copper pipe and hammer the hell out of one end of it and put that behind it, and that gives it something for it to sit on. So yeah, exactly, and it won't fall through the hole.
And I'm down with that one, and I'd actually done the research on that. I'm going to screw it up, but that is my intention to do exactly that.
Here's another option you can do. Clean it up pretty well. Go get yourself some 2-part epoxy resin and some fiberglass cloth, and just put some fiberglass over some of those holes. It'll seal up real nice. The rust will be sealed up. It'll never get any worse. It's harder to screw up and less ugly than welding. And it's waterproof.
Nothing wrong with that.
I did an entire Miata floor in that. It was starting to get little hole. Remember the white Miata, everyone?
Yeah, the Barbie Miata.
Yeah, so I pulled all the interior out of it, and I put a layer of fiberglass cloth down with epoxy on the entire floor and going up the back of that car to seal up all the little spots. None of them were really that bad, but it seemed like the fastest and easiest way for a $500 Miata to get its floor sealed. So.
I'm. You know what? There's going to be a lot of engagement with our audience, and let's hear from you on the social medias, folks. Should I attempt to weld with the copper pipe, knowing that there was a time I could weld, and that time is long since gone because I have not maintained that skill? Or should I go with the stinky epoxy resin? And I've got my garage is actually separated from my house, so let's hear from our readers on that one, what we should do. But I am leaning towards the fiberglass right now.
Something to consider.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Who's next?
I'll go.
All right, go ahead.
Worked on the Civic, like actual race car work. Can you believe it? It's that time of year. Replaced the left front wheel bearing and reloaded the spare knuckles.
Left front. Didn't we just do that one?
Yeah, we did it twice at New Hampshire at the track because once it just got worn out because it hadn't been changed in 5 races, and I said, okay, that's fine. And I put the entire spare loaded knuckle in, and that was so easy, and I was so proud of myself. I brought a whole knuckle. That was an easy swap. And the next day, Silly Nannies had to go and hit us on that side and trash that wheel bearing again. So then
you must have left the door open. That's all I'm saying.
I'm sure. And absolutely. And
Door open. Yes.
You leave door open. It's okay.
And because I had brought 2 fully loaded new spare knuckles, I said, well, I don't need to bring another spare wheel bearing. What's the odds of going through 2 wheel bearings in a race? So we then at the track had to press the bearing out of the other loaded knuckle and press it back into the left one. Anyway, so we just did 3 wheel bearings to replace the bad one and the 2 spares now. And I got an extra one that's still in the packaging that's in the spares box now for next time, just in case. We'll call that the Silly Nanny bearing. So I also went to replace the right front shock that was leaking. And when I took it off and I took it apart, I found the bump stops were basically powder. Essentially, they had completely disintegrated and were gone. So those need to be replaced. And I also found that I had over-adjusted the coilovers too high. Because after the K-swap, and we had weird axle angles.
Yeah, I remember us lifting it.
I raised the front of the car a bit, and I had 6-inch springs in the front of it that I'd bought on clearance from Speedway before. And I apparently, going up, I knew I was getting to the top of the adjusters, but you can't really see. But once it was all apart, I realized that I essentially had 1 to 2 threads of engagement in the coilovers between the perches and the sleeves, holding the car up. So that's not enough. So hey, it worked so long that we have a 20-year-old set of ground control threaded perches that are so crusty but still work. They held up, so good for them. So I had to order some 8-inch tall springs and got some again on clearance from Summit, which is nice. So those will go in this weekend. Yes, Mental.
So, and just we might have picked up some new readers. How long has the 3-pedal Mafia, which is our racing civilian disguise for E1R, how long have they been running this Civic?
This chassis we've been running
this chassis
6 years, I think. And then
but those
we had
springs were on the old chassis.
Yes, they were on the old chassis, and before that, no, the springs weren't. The perches were, but the perches.
Okay.
Actually, I purchased those perches in about 2001 or 2002 for my mom's Wagovan back when she used to drive it in the wintertime in New England. So
Can you say that you purchased those perches 6 times fast?
No, I can't
say it one time. I actually it got boggled in my mind as I listened to him say it.
I'm going to steal that for my voice and diction class.
Good.
We purchased the perches. We purchased the perches.
Yep. So anyway, they're old AF, and they still work. And even though they had basically one thread of engagement, they still held the car up. So 2-inch taller springs should fix that. The new Halo seat is fully installed in the car. You can now slide up far enough forward that you're not steering with your fingertips, which is very nice. Yeah, that's plus it's safer. It's got the Halo things, so that's nice. Went over the whole car nut and bolt. Only found a couple of things that were slightly loose, so that's good. Flushed the brake fluid out with fresh stuff. Traced an oil leak at the engine bay to one of the AN swivel fittings on the main oil line that goes out from the engine to the remote oil filter and the oil cooler. One of those fittings was leaking. It wasn't much of a leak. It was a drip every 10 seconds. So, but it was new. Like, apparently it happened during Sunday of New Hampshire. It started to leak. So even after I tightened it, it still seemed fine. It still was leaking, so I got a new fitting.
A puddle in the trailer?
No.
Interesting.
This just happened.
Well, I know. I found it on the ground, and I walked by and said, that's new and oil. And so then we put it in, and we continue to find a leak. So it's interesting that it came...
It took a while to find because it was leaking from the fitting onto the crossmember, running down the crossmember to the end, dropping off the crossmember, hitting the control arm, and then dropping down the control arm and hitting the ground from that. So it
I
took
love
a while.
playing the what's leaking game.
Yeah. That's why I cleaned everything and just let it run.
I have that going on in the Titan right now, but basically the answer is everything Jeff touched. So
not surprised.
Yeah.
It's basically like you taste it and you go, oil or transmission fluid?
Good.
Here's the thing is you make that as a joke, but all 4 of us and at least 40% of our listener base actually knows the taste difference between transmission fluid and oil.
Sometimes by choice, sometimes not.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, that's it. I've got the new springs and bump stops and other fluids all around tomorrow, so we should be able to this weekend get the car most of the way buttoned up. Not 100% race ready, but pretty darn close. So
that's all right, because races are right around the corner.
Yeah, apparently. So, what are you working on, Jeff? Aside from your sieve of a Titan, this is actually a theme for you. Jeff's trucks leak. Really?
Yeah, it's just the way it is.
Jeff's trucks leak. Jeff's trucks rust. Jeff's trucks don't necessarily stop.
No, this one's not rusting, and this one stops great.
And he's doing all the right things. He put the fluid film on this one. He's got the new brakes on it.
Yeah, by the way, the fluid film makes it a little harder to see what's leaking.
Yeah, it does. But it's worth it that nothing rusts.
Yeah, it's fine.
They should they should color that. Like you should be able to
it's kind of like poo brown.
Butterscotch.
Right, but it should be like orange. So
beige. It's creamy
all your
beige.
fluids actually are blatant.
Yes.
My transmission fluid is orange. That's the problem. Anyway, here's what I was doing. So I had the weekend off, and we had the 12-year-old intern coming in. So that was kind of fun. So the 12-year-old intern that I talked about last week came in, him and his dad, and he was coming on Sunday. So on Saturday, I got out there, and I tried to get my Titan, all the electrical stuff work. But, hey, remember those really cheap switches I said I bought on Amazon that looked really cool?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just disintegrated. They're just like pieces of junk. And
you were so excited about them.
You plug and unplug them a few times, and just the whatever the thing is, the clip that holds it just comes right out, and then the whole thing just shatters. So yeah, spend more than like $1 on your switches, everybody.
Good.
No way.
So I got up early on Sunday, and I cleaned the garage, and I prepared for guest wrenchers. So that was cool. My brother arrived. We hooked up the trailer, which had new stories for the trailer podcast whenever we get to that one. Jim nearly dropped the trailer on me. Don't ask.
Wow.
I was like, why were you under it?
I wasn't under it. I was standing next to it, and he like,
All right, that's
got
actually impressive.
Got a little overzealous on the jack, and
You need a proper trailer tongue jack as opposed to the one.
I have one. It's cranky. It takes forever.
Cranky.
Yep.
Well, what we needed to just buy the electric one. Anyway, so what we did was we moved all the winter stuff to the backyard, and we moved all the spring, summer race car stuff to the front of the yard. So like,
Great.
everything is in position, ready to start yanking the motor out of the Z and everything. So I'm pretty excited. And since I talked to the kid about, what are your goals here? What do you know? And his father looked at him and said, "What's baseline? We're probably below that."
Is he enthusiastic at least?
He is very enthusiastic. He was actually mad. His father suggested that he was at baseline. I said, no. Baseline is where every kid starts. That's better than crap. So we started with like, hey, so what kind of racing do you want to do? What are you interested in? We talked about like, what is karts and where can you get karts and how do you get into karts? And
Joey,
this is what we do.
You ever hang around
Exactly.
a NASCAR pit?
That's right. You ever wonder why dogs sniff each other in the butt?
Do you like movies about gladiators?
Exactly. That's exactly what we did. So then I basically said, okay, well, then we're not going to touch the race car today. After, we put him in. We put him in the suit. We talked about, all the fun things that you do. We
lie
pulled
underneath
up the
it in all your spare time while spending all your spare money, and then curse at it when it
your oil
breaks.
smells like transmission fluid, and you're like, "Oh, this is great."
I was very upfront that I was like, "Dad, this is going to cost you some money. This is not a cheap habit." So anyway, so they sounds like they want to do some arrive and drive, like real kart, like oval stuff. So I'm going to be talking to Signor Leotti, because I know that he works with the people up in Wall who do some of their training stuff. So find out what age group do they have a mini kid. But anyway, back to what I was working on. So we pulled up the daily and we rotated the tires on the daily. And we pulled apart the brake system and we basically explained everything that we were doing. How to do things safely, what jack stands, wearing your PPE, how to use a wrench, this is metric. It has whole numbers. This is English or SAE. It uses fractions, basically that's what we did all day. And we made him take apart the front set of brakes and explained how fluid works.
Made him? Because it sounds like he probably jumped at it.
He was into it. I was explaining it. And I was like, you just take this off. And then his dad says, can we take it off? I said, yeah, you want to take it off? Take it off. So yeah, we pulled apart my brakes. He was excited. He spent about 3.5-4 hours here, and he's ready to come back the day we're going to pull the motor. So
that's
got an
great.
intern, everybody.
That's great.
And I gave him a red shirt. Red team shirt.
Cool.
Oh, so the Godfather version?
Yeah, Godfather version.
Nice.
That was it. That's what we did. And then I went to work and learned about how my life is going to change for the next month and a half, 2 months, forever.
Is this the location that you're going to end up in? Basement? Banished to the basement?
No, because see this chair right here?
Yes.
That's Jen's classroom.
Oh.
Oh, that's right, because you guys are I saw a meme today that said, I don't know anything about fourth grade math.
And no.
Picture of Kevin Hart going, oh, you gonna learn.
Oh, no. This is a college lecture classroom. I will be upstairs at the kitchen table doing 6th grade math.
That's right. Jen teaches real stuff.
Yep. Funny story before we get to news and notes. Tuesday, Jen is down here lecturing. She is a hospitality business faculty member, and Josh is upstairs, and I'm doing 6th grade math, and he opens Excel because he has financial literacy class, and he's like, Daddy, can you show me on Excel how to calculate interest rate? And I was like, Jen! I can't do this!
No, I can't.
Math is too hard! So now she's probably running downstairs like, oh my God, what's wrong?
We'll see her pop out at 3.
He's doing his stupid show. If I don't smell fire, I'm not moving.
It's true. All right, news and notes time.
Okay, folks. Now, I say no one's living under a rock. Everyone's on social media, but partially due to the presidential travel ban on Europeans, partially due to the COVID-19, and you're going to hear that a lot. IMSA has postponed the 12 hours of Sebring. Now, according to Yahoo Sports, which I swear I didn't actually know was still a thing. I didn't know Yahoo still existed. But IMSA has announced the postponement of the 12 hours of Sebring weekend, originally scheduled for March 18th through the 21st, due to the recent United States ban on travel from Europe, which will prevent a number of drivers, teams, and key personnel from participation. It actually has been rescheduled for November 11th through the 14th, and it's going to be the season finale for the 2020 IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championships. Now, no worries to our buddies down in Florida, Team Fat Crack. IMSA announced that the previously purchased 2020 admission tickets and parking will still be honored at the rescheduled Sebring International Raceway event. So, Florida man, go be Florida man. You're just going to have to wait till November to do it.
I don't know if this is upcoming races or news and notes, but either way, here it is. Sim Racing League, sponsored by the folks at Lucky Dog. Kathy and the crew are there to race in the virtual world via sim racing. They're posting videos of racing incidents on their Facebook page, and people are already blaming people and trying to do crash scene.
Race CSI?
Do computer race CSI.
I'm joking. They really aren't, but they are.
The tires were not up to temperature because they don't exist, you idiot.
Well, they're definitely producing the videos of all the crashes on their website. I was just making up the blaming part. But anyway, you can check it out at facebook.com/LuckyDogSimRacing. Link in the show notes.
It's great if you are on the West Coast because it's in Pacific time and it's very
only you go to bed.
It starts at 8:30 Pacific, so that's like 11:30 Eastern. That's kind of late.
When
Mental
my
can
son
do it, though.
goes to bed, that's perfect time for me. Mental's waving his hands.
I mean, live there.
Mario.
That's good for you.
And Chrissy, you're absolutely right because it's a West Coast series. Luckily, our friend Bill Strong has people like you covered because just today they sent out an email that says that the Champ Car iRacing League is still 100% unaffected by pandemics. And if that's not enough of a selling point for you, they are only 3 rounds into their championship year, so any newcomers can still race at Daytona and have a drop week to spare for the rest of the year if you want to be entered in to win a race entry. So Champ Car is also on the East Coast actively pushing their iRacing League, and they're going to give a free race entry to whoever wins.
Well, that won't be us, but
not us.
Great idea.
I don't know, Chrissy, if you drive, they might have a chance unless they have a on your roof class.
Yeah.
That was Chris rolling the car. I don't roll a car.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Exactly. That's why I said
Oh,
that.
I thought you said Chris.
No. Anyway, so now, upcoming races.
Wait. I've got something
so
for this.
boring.
Nothing. There's nothing.
Oh, my God.
Everything.
Had so much. Like the first week in April was going to be like the second busiest day of the year.
Yeah, no. Everything is canceled or postponed. So there's a great thread on the Grassroots Motorsports Forum listing all the motorsports cancellations, and we get a link to that in our show notes. Just some highlights. All NASA events through at least March, Lemons through early April. Le Mans is postponed to September. And then let's see what else here. Grand Prix of St. Petersburg is off. Tire Rack Dixie Champ Tour, SCCA, off. We talked about IMSA, NASCAR at AMP, not going to happen. NHRA Gator Nationals, nope. We could just keep going here. Let's see what else.
Vintage Auto Racing at Pahrump canceled.
Firestone Grand Prix at St. Petersburg, nope. Brumos has stopped letting people come and look at their stuff. There's that. SVRA.
Because people lick cars.
Yep, they do. Yeah. I would think autocross would be okay because, frankly, all those people are social distancers by nature, and you stand in the middle of the parking lot. But apparently that's no good.
You can't stand 6 feet away from the person. If you have 3 people trying to grab cones, you have to come back to a central location, which is less than 6 feet away.
Yep. Sotheby's auction in Palm
you
Beach.
just have more cone stations, but yeah.
Sotheby's auction online only now.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, SEMA says nothing changes yet for November because that's November, so there's that. Barrett Jackson is postponed for the one in April.
Because all of their clients are at risk.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, there's lots and lots and lots. Radwood is on hold for further notice.
And we're friends with Bradley. I that hurt him. That I don't think he came to that decision easy, and I'm sure all of these people didn't. But Jesus, Brad. I mean,
I don't think any of them are.
No, I mean, Formula One is postponed through May right now. The Oscar Mayer Wienermobile has been parked. So there's
no,
I know,
Oh
right?
my God!
IndyCar races through April. The 100-acre Wood Rally is canceled, so Santiago is not going to go there. World of Outlaws is postponed through April 9th. Formula Drift, Long Beach is canceled. I mean, you just keep going and going and going.
Yeah.
If it's racing, it's canceled. My go-kart
league. If
league.
It's anything, it's canceled. That's really what it comes down to.
When the Lemons race got canceled at the end of the month because my last go-kart race was a total, including employees, of 7 people, I thought we'd be okay, but they've canceled that one. So the next go-kart league I can't do until May 31st. But I want to talk to you guys about Le Mans because we had plans. We were all going to meet up with Giant Dave, and we're all going to be at Le Mans with Tetanus Racing, right? Should I? I'm getting hands. Should I hold this until later in the show?
All right, I'm back. Where are we at?
Yeah, that's later, but cool.
Okay, that is later. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, recent race results. Champ car was at Harris Hill in Texas. I have no idea where you found this because I looked a whole bunch of places and I could not find it.
I went to Race Hero.
I went to Race Hero and it said nothing.
I'm sorry, not Race Hero. My laps because I've got a transponder.
Yeah, okay, that's the thing. Okay, first on Saturday was another yellow Miata. Second was Lone Star. How can I say this? Lone Star Acers.
It's Lone Star, but it's like the kind of loan you get at
Lone
the bank.
Lone Star Acers.
Yeah.
In another 91 Miata, who also had a FTD with a 128.4. Third was Split 5 in a 92 240 SX. Sunday was similar with a first going to Auto Spec Racing, 16 another 93 Miata because they were all Miatas, 18 Miatas in this race. Second was again Lone Star Acers in a 91 Miata, and then they also set the fastest lap. And third was again Split 5 92 in their Nissan 240.
Yep.
Last race forever. Forever.
All right. Listener feedback time. Hey, it's worth mentioning during our Dream Paddock episode, another one we didn't get to last week, is that Jacqueline Kelly mentioned that she'd like a workspace, quote, where engines aren't swinging so close to my nice cars. Apparently Dean likes to whip it around. So
yes.
And
all of her cars have to be in the garage because they all plug in, right?
Half of them, I think.
Half of them, but she's got some hella sweet Beamers. Also, I need
Fisker
to
that I love. It's got a mustache. You should like that.
True. I owe an unadulterated apology to Greg from Florida Man Racing because I misinterpreted Dr. Florida Man's post of the first place in the Lemons or the Concours des Lemons show at Amelia Island as Donnie winning first. And Greg took the time to say, I will not give you a 5-star review until I get justice. Greg, and I do sincerely apologize because you let me drive your Mustang at Barber, so I should absolutely be nicer. So Greg, Florida Man Racing, and I wanted to try and blame this on Donnie, and I can't because it's 100% my fault. Donnie gave him credit in the Instagram post, and I missed it. But you can't stop Florida Man Racing. Go ahead, Chris.
This counts for the bingo card as Mental gets something correct. So just want to say that.
Is that on the bingo card?
It is, yes.
Oh, weird.
That's a rare, hard to fill square, so take advantage.
So purchased the Cimarron because Donnie beat his Vega last year, and he really wanted to win Concours de Lemons. So now the Cimarron, under 2 different teams, has won a Lemons Rally and a Concours de Lemons. Could it win an IOE? The problem is it could, but it's too cherry of a car to find out. The interior on that car is just too damn nice to figure out. And because I highlighted this under my color, I happen to know for a fact that the coronavirus showed up at Chrissy's mom's house and then quarantined itself for 30 days in fear afterwards. So, hello, Chrissy's mom.
She doesn't listen to the show anymore. Shouldn't go anywhere except watching baby. Jen listens though.
Yeah,
Hi,
so
Jen.
do we need to change it to Jen? Do we say hi to Chrissy's sister?
No.
Okay.
Look, I love Jen to death. She's a hoot, but she doesn't make cookies, and I'm never going to stop saying hi to Chrissy's mom.
130 times we said hi to Chrissy's mom. We've got
And we get cookies on our birthday, Jeff.
True.
Every birthday, we get cookies mailed to us.
Don't make our people jealous.
No.
Topic time!
Here it
Do we
is,
have a
folks.
topic?
We do. COVID-19 outbreak is canceling everything. Sad face, sad trombone.
We just talked about it.
We've been talking about it all day. Everybody, every show, everything. So as America bunkers down into social distancing, you international listener out there, yes, that was singular. So you know what's happening in America. We are 1 week into our social distancing, whatever we're going to call it, time here. The tenor and vibe in America has changed from, those people are a little overboard, to holy crap, I have to live with my family for how many weeks?
I don't know.
Side story, one of Jen's friends said, if I have to live with my 3 kids for 3 weeks, I would rather lick every doorknob in China. So... we know that the garage can sometimes be a lonely sanctuary, but we build to race, and there ain't no racing on the horizon. So we're going to talk about how our lives have been changing because we all need to spend 6 feet from each other. Luckily, we are seasoned podcasters who stare at our best friends through a screen every week.
We're serious.
It makes those meetings with 27 windows.
You are not wrong.
Fine.
My work is having such a hard time with that. My boss is like, I don't even know what this is so weird. You're going to be looking at me, and I'm like, come on, like I do this every week. It really does help us in our normal lives.
We use Zoom at my school,
As do we.
and you're only cool if your background is cooler than the other people in Zoom. People are putting up, like, I'm sitting there like going, that dude is sitting in a time machine DeLorean. That dude's on the Starfleet Enterprise. I got to figure out how to do this.
You need to be in the boat. You need to get a picture of you in the boat.
True.
Or the rolls.
So for the first time I had a meeting with somebody, people were trying to inspect the picture behind Chris, and then I'm now working on the other side of the table, which is my hand-drawn Laguna Seca poster, and people were like, "Oh, that's cool."
This is my meeting today. I'm showing it to the camera.
Oh my
I
god,
can't really tell.
that's a
There's
lot.
so many people in that Skype meeting.
I'm just seeing offices. I'm not seeing anything interesting. I'm just seeing DeLoreans.
No, I didn't take a picture of the DeLorean. I should have. I'm sorry. I haven't looked at it. Anyway, so what is canceled for us? What does the future look like? Who wants to start this up? Chris, what's your life looking like?
Well, I'm working at home all the time now, which is actually not that big a deal because I already worked at home 1 day a week. Most of my employees work at home 3 days a week. So we're already pretty well indoctrinated into this stuff. We've got the tools. We're used to using them. If anything, we've actually had to cut back on our video conference usage because of bandwidth concerns. So we're actually, normally we do use it. We're not using it now. So I get to spend all of my day with my wonderful wife, which is fantastic and a blessing in every way. And, so there's that.
You're so funny.
And right now, I have basically lost all of the things that I look forward to. They're all gone. I got nothing. There's nothing fun coming up, and it's sad. So all I've got in the near future is working at home, staring across the table at Chrissy, and then working on various assorted projects in the evening, and not leaving the house. That's about it. Yeah.
Yep.
Matt, how about you?
So we talked about this last week, and I mean, God, that feels like so long ago, but that literally was last week. I am, and we'll get to me, restricted from travel, but you guys are not, and you were car shopping, and you had found a delightful creation on the West Coast. Is that still on the table?
No, that one's gone.
Oh. Okay, never mind.
There's another one in Fresno, but I don't think it's in as good condition, so I'm not really excited to move on that one.
Well, God knows you got enough time to kind of be picky now.
Well, also, we're not putting 1,000 miles or 500 miles a week on the Mazda. So.
We're not putting any miles on the Mazda. So it's. But speaking of the Mazda, I got to put this one in here. We did detail it, and it is such a lovely place to be. Washed inside and out, and we only got to drive it once.
Jeff, stop looking down. Listen to what Chrissy is saying.
I heard. I didn't care. Poor kid is wrenching on my Mazda, and he leans against it like in a black sweatshirt. It just comes out just totally filthy. I'm like, get used to it.
It doesn't have to be that way, young 12-year-old intern. Yeah. I promise you, 3 of us have clean cars on this show.
It's true.
So, Matt, what else? You started going on there. What? Continue. What,
aren't you like grounded?
Yeah.
I am, but
you can't come see us for a work weekend that was on the plan for a month and a half.
Yeah, I want to go last. I really do.
Oh, yeah, I'll go next.
Okay.
So I am now 100% home from work, also like Chris. But unlike Chris, my job is to deal with 10,000 students. So this is drastically different for me. It is an extrovert's nightmare. Yeah. You think I'm going to get a lot of work done on like cars and stuff, but I actually have to like homeschool my son now. And I already mentioned that. That's
why did they change math? Why did they change math?
I'm not really worried about changing math. It's just, like, focus, kid, focus. Like, my God, this should be done in 20 minutes.
Well, we should joke about the meme that you saw earlier.
So I saw one that said first day of homeschool, and I need better security because there were 3 fights, and one of the teachers got fired for being drunk.
And I saw another one that said, how do I get this terrible child removed from my classroom? And it's your kid.
Yeah. So, I think the homeschool realities are hitting us all pretty hard. But there's some fun stuff. Like, my son has gym class because it's New Jersey, so 5 days a week he has to do gym. So we all went out for a family walk with the dogs. So it really is like quality family time. But anyway, yeah.
I don't think there's a dog in the United States right now that is not loving this.
Oh, they're like, this is the weirdest Saturday ever.
Right?
Everybody's home, but they're all doing work on a computer.
Pretty much. Cat's like, oh, this is cool. You're both here, and then you don't leave, and then I'm gonna sit on this couch for a while because.
Yeah. Okay.
Doesn't care.
I'll say you're. Yeah, say if your cat's doing that, because my dogs are like, 2 laps. Oh, which lap? Which lap do I want? Oh,
yes, they are.
Yeah. So I'll tell you another interesting thing is, like, because we are not used to working at home, all of my bosses in the university is freaking out to make sure that everybody is actually working at home. So. They literally sent out a thing that says I have to say what I was working on each hour and give notes on what was complete.
No.
And my people were like,
I spent 2 hours working on your stupid report.
Right? I did. I put that in there. I was like 1 hour doing your stupid paperwork. Anyway.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but, I have to actually keep up with, and this is the worst part is I used to be able to go to work and finish it all and then come home. I've had to get up from this podcast 3 times because my phone is ringing with coworkers. Because now work is spread out all over because not everybody is working at the same time and at the same pace. That's crazy. But anyway, yeah, that's what it is. I'm here. But all my weekends are free.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a minute.
And I would say and nights because all of my nights are free. Okay, I'll go since Spencer wants to go last. I am also working from home directly across from my loving husband. And only today have I started.
And I love it.
Have I started the Disney Princess Get Me Out of Here songs. It is fun to wave to each other across the top of our monitors. That's always fun.
Yeah, so this is the only time workplace groping is not a real problem.
It's legal.
Chris,
sure
Chris, you can still file for sexual harassment. You shouldn't have to put up.
Oh, don't do that. Okay, so the one thing that I was upset that was canceled is I was supposed to be running my Girl Scout event next weekend. The 29th, that's when it was. No, yeah, right, not this weekend, next weekend. But they canceled it since everything is on lockdown until at least the end of March. My event got canceled. And I'm very sad about it. And for a while before we were all and everything closed, I was like, we could still do this. And I was like, I'm not playing this game. And then everything in the world is canceled. I'm like, fine, whatever. So I rescheduled for April, but I'm pretty sure I probably won't even advertise it because I don't think anybody's going to be out of their house by April. And, I don't know, maybe next week it might just be the Chrissy, Jeff, and Mental show because I might smothered my husband. No, we're doing fine.
You're an old GRM addict. Are you about to build a concrete patio in the backyard?
No, we're fine. No worries.
No, it's good. I'm joking. I'm not ready to kill him. I'm just a little stir crazy. It's okay. And the week seems to be going really slow and then we also have nothing to talk about because we literally sit across the table from each other. But anyway, things are fine, and hopefully next week we'll bring different news, and that's it. Mental, tell us about you.
I'm not one for excessive drama unless it's in the search of a punchline, but I don't know if you guys know this. Las Vegas is closed. The governor came on yesterday, and not only did he say everything that is not essential to city functions, gaming had to shut down at midnight last night. All restaurants that aren't, in fact, you can't go to a restaurant now. Everybody has to offer curbside assistance or lock the doors. Now, bars and restaurants shut down. So literally, for the first time since 1905, last night at midnight, Vegas said last call.
Wow.
So
that's like what it is around a lot of other places, but it seems crazy just being there, knowing what it's like there, and thinking about.
Also, Vegas never shuts down. Like they don't have like a night off. Like there's no.
Right.
This place closes on Christmas Eve. No, it's always on.
Yeah,
it's always on. And I drove down Las Vegas Boulevard just coming home the other day, and it was full of people who live here that wanted to see what Las Vegas Boulevard looked like with nothing going on. Yeah. It's insane. Like everyone else, I'm working from home, but the nature of my job, and I got to be very careful about my words here, the nature of my job means we're not doing a whole lot of our job. And the Air Force had limited capability in this. And what's interesting is every day I'm also answering my phone way too often, is every day everyone complains about not being able to get to our shared work drives until about 1 o'clock when everyone on the East Coast starts logging off and going home for the day, because we're competing with the entire country. And once everyone starts to go home, that's where it gets interesting on that. So also, like you guys, kind of trapped in the house, got a lot going on online that I just simply can't do. So yeah, that's my life. But unlike Philadelphia, when they shut everything down that was not essential, the liquor stores in Las Vegas stayed open, and thank God for that. He said, taking a drink.
As he takes his drink. Mental, you have security clearance issues at your work. Are you even able to work from home, or?
So the challenge of what we do, and
I know you can't talk about much about it, but
so the challenge of what we do, a lot of it, it's not classified that what we do is classified. We work with airplanes, and airplanes do stuff, and the things that those airplanes do, we can't talk about in a public forum. I don't have a secure facility in my house to work on the stuff that we do for airplanes, but we also have a lot of civilians. And what's interesting about military, actually uniform wearing versus civilians, is if my commander says, go home, I'm still doing my job. As long as he can get a hold of me and I can be someplace in 15, 20, 30 minutes, I get paid. But we've got a lot of civilians, and what it takes for them to get paid is very specifically outlined by the Office of Personnel Management. And my commander is a fantastic human being, and he really, really, really wants our civilians to get paid. So we are just dancing a dance to make sure that people are keeping the lights on here. And I can't complain because this is a service town. It is the embodiment of the gig economy, and there's a whole lot of folks that just got nothing going on.
Yeah, the gig economy is going to take a terrible hit. Obviously, my wife I already mentioned she teaches hospitality. The hospitality industry is in a complete tailspin. So it's gonna hurt a lot of people. I mean, my student workers can't work because they all got sent home. So
I'm genuinely worried about my neighbors here and the citizens of Las Vegas. I've gone on and on about how much I love the city. So I hope we get it figured out.
Totally. Well, let's talk race car stuff.
Hell
is this
yes.
affecting the team, the builds, the cars, and all that stuff? Chris, you want to go first?
Sure. Cars are going to be done super early, which is fantastic. Like, I feel better about getting the Z done than I ever have before, but now we really need to get it done because we're going to be at the New Jersey race if there is a New Jersey race because we're not going to be in France. So now we need a couple of cars that work. Before the plan was, we're going to debut the Z, and then Chris is going to leave the Civic race ready in the trailer just in case.
Just in case.
And that was going to be 3 less people that we weren't going to have racing because yes. And now we're all.
I got to sign New Jersey now, so send me that link. So that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Do we have to add a car to the registration?
We totally do.
Yeah. Nick Pond, if you're listening.
Yeah.
42.
He's not listening.
He is listening because he's got nothing to do right
Civic's
now.
41, Jeff. Come on.
41, sorry.
It's all right. So, yeah, we're going to be ready. I feel good about it because we've got nothing. We can't go anywhere. We can't do anything. Like, we're not going to pit race, probably. Well, it's not official yet, but I'm guessing we're not going to go to pit race. Already my HPD weekend with NASA is canceled. So, okay, let's just keep building.
Yeah, there it is.
But this is also the time to motivate all of our teammates to continue working on what they can. If they don't have a car, then maybe they can do other things, which is what I guess we'll talk about in a little while. But there's plenty of other car things or car-related things that you can work on while or our teammates can work on, but also your listeners can work on in the time of not having much to do.
It is unfortunate that the DMV is likely not staffed well to check on Citroen paperwork. So,
well, and you can't stand in line.
Doesn't matter. I can't go. Anyway, I'm going to change the topic here and say
of course
the Z is also going to take a leap forward earlier than expected because between spring break and finals week, I don't get any weekend days. So even though my days have gotten a lot longer, my weekends have gotten a lot freer, which means all the parts that I didn't order because I didn't think I needed them yet, I now need.
Most things are still they're all delivering. Yeah. We got 5 deliveries today.
Yeah. Like I said, as long as the boxes of toilet paper and hand sanitizer that everybody ordered from Wish don't clog up the tubes, we should be gonna get
you have all the links of all the things we need.
Oh, yeah. No, I got it. I got it all. Like, literally, I got it all.
You just didn't do it.
I just haven't gone click, order, click, order, click,
and Chris won't do it for you because he's trying to teach you a lesson.
It's principle. At this point.
I got a problem with it.
Okay. You just have to do it.
Yeah.
Homeschooling. How do I get rid of this unruly student?
I just didn't think I would be ready to pull the motor until at finals week, you know?
Yeah, we're ready now.
So, look, it's March.
Yep.
Mental.
How is it I'm a teacher and every time Chrissy gets directive, I start feeling guilty like I haven't done my homework or something? Come on, look, it's March.
Never did his homework?
Yeah, because I never did. I didn't care when I was in school. I'm going to make a future prediction. The first Lemons race, which is looking hard like it's going to be New Jersey, there's going to be a lot of crap that blows up. Because the people are like, I've got a month. I'm going to add a turbo. I'm going to add a V8. I'm going to add a cold air intake. This is going to be awesome. This thing's going to dominate. Boom. But
no testing.
Yeah. And no testing. Or, well, depending on if the police get really busy, there's probably a lot of testing opportunities. the more astute listeners among us may have heard that I recently purchased a relatively fast car, and the traffic leading right up until the closures has still been very light in Las Vegas. So I decided to be rather entertained on my commute to work the other day.
What's it, like a 10-mile commute?
Yeah, it's like a 12. And for the first time ever, Waze decided, hey, you should go on the freeway.
Yeah.
You know what, Waze? I should go on the freeway. So I do this beautiful, slightly controlled launch onto the entrance ramp, just hang in the rear end about 5 degrees. Yes, I know how much the rear tires cost.
I was like, did we talk about this?
and
it's his thumb
it
now.
Is,
right?
It was gorgeous. And I'm walking it all the way up this ramp. It straightens out, and I am comfortably clearing triple digits as I get to the top of the ramp and see the state trooper sitting there.
Nice.
Got it shut down in plenty of time, and he's probably just looking in the mirror going, yeah, he's bored.
Oh,
but
actually, that car's doesn't attract kind of like the hoon attention eyes. It's just a dark blue Mercedes.
Yeah, and there are a ton of Mercedes around here. Just this one got a few little secret badges that says, I will crush you.
So I have heard directly from the horse's father's mouth that the state police in New Jersey are not requiring traffic stops for anything but the most egregious cases because they don't want to talk to people either.
Nope. No, that's what Chris and I were talking about when we're going to. Well, I have actively heard loud motors, drag racing type things around here, and we said, "Well, how long till we start doing?" There's no other cars going up and down our street anyway, so brings me.
So I think it might be a good excuse to go get the NSX and drive that around. But I think driving the Civic around at anything even close to Civic normal driving would count as that most egregious of offenses.
You're like, what? It's almost street legal. Ish.
No. I don't know. Or
not even close.
License plate on. I know.
With the giant Godzilla head out of the back of it, the cops kind of look at each other and go, "Well, we got to that Mad Max thing a lot sooner than I thought we would."
The state policeman's father that I heard it from said, "Doesn't help my kid. All he does is domestics, and they're going to go through the roof."
Yep, that's true.
Getting back on topic, I do have more projects than I should have as a relatively stably employed person. And if I don't get them done, because I've got 2 motorcycles with electrical issues, I've got the Toyota pickup, I've got the Volvo that needs a head gasket. So if I don't get this stuff done, and I've got some grandiose plans for the half magic janky ass trailer, I'm officially an idiot. So
one at a time, Mental. One at a time.
Spoiler alert, we'll have this conversation in 30 days. We know how this is going to go. So you're absolutely right. One at a time. I'm totally focused on the Toyota pickup right now because that's the enabler for all the other projects. And I did also agree to buy a computer this weekend that is going to allow me to go iRacing.
Excellent.
Oh, I forgot to put that in my list. My iRacing computer came in. I did some iRacing.
Woo!
I'm very excited.
And this weekend we have to make sure we set some time aside for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Weekend? Why are we waiting until the weekend? We don't have crap to do.
I maybe Monday. Monday's the earliest I can do it.
Well, we can do it without you.
Well, everybody else can do it on
Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Yeah.
Well, Thursday. What are we doing on Thursday? Yeah. We don't do anything anymore.
I was going to work on the Honda. That's what.
You work on the Honda.
Once I work
on
the Honda, then I can go get the Solstice, and then I can fix the Solstice, and then I can put that back, and then I can get the MG, and then I can fix the MG, and then I can move to either the Citroen or the boat. I got plenty.
Boat?
And I'm going to put all the dark meat in one pile, and I'll white meat in another pile.
Our boat.
The actual Boston Whaler that's sitting in the side yard right now.
No, not the race boat. The actual boat.
No, race boot is gone.
The one
so this is an advice show. So let's move on to the advice portion of the show. So we need to give some advice because if we're having trouble figuring out what to do, Donnie's getting in trouble because he's got nothing to do out there.
Hey, y'all need things to do.
Oh,
come visit.
Donnie's
you
still
can help
having
me
to
work
go to
on all
work.
these things that I need to do. There's plenty to do here. Don't you worry.
So let's talk about some things you can do while social distancing.
All right, folks. So you're locked in. You got things to do. Distance and everything is canceled. Everything is closed. Chris, what are you doing besides staring at your lovely, lovely bride?
Well, there's a whole variety of things you can do, like listen to podcasts, for example.
That's a great idea.
Like if you wanted to listen to a podcast about amateur endurance racing, perhaps I've got some.
Are you going to give Bill a plug?
No, absolutely not.
No, not the second most popular podcast about endurance racing. Chris only does the best.
Well, so hey, if you want to go back, especially if you're a newer listener, or you're really that bored, you run out of things to do, and you want to go to some past shows, here are some suggestions that I have that I liked. Episode 104, that's where we had Jay Lamb on. That was a great show. Got into some interesting stuff that you don't usually hear Jay talk about. I liked episode 77 about wheel alignment because it's technical and detailed and up my alley. No one's surprised. And I liked the Going Faster series that we did. We have 5 episodes on that so far. We had episode 92 was about braking. Episode 95 was about accelerating. Episode 101 was about vision. And episodes 112 and 113 were about cornering. So, think about that. See if that gets you on the right track for coming up in the spring.
We can't read that at all.
No.
Sorry. Okay. If I have some favorite episodes too, when everyone else gets through theirs, but
yeah, go for it, Mental.
No, go for it. Go next.
We've been doing this now for almost as long as Mike Rowe's been doing his podcast. So we're sneaking up on the same amount of shows. We all have our favorites. I have a lot. Episode 91, Dr. Florida Man Donnie. I thought that was just a hilarious entertaining episode. Episode 83 with Uncle Dave is still to date one of our most popular episodes because we're learning about RC racing, which, by the way, great way to maintain social distancing. We've got the episode 72 where we interviewed Bill Strong live trackside at Road Atlanta. That was a lot of fun.
Episode, yeah.
Episode 62, this was the one that nobody wanted to do but me, and I still really enjoyed it. But it was the thankfulness episode about life and racing and musings and just what we've all gotten out of this one. Episode 52, the wedding hangover, still one of the greatest events I have ever had to attend. That was just a fantastic time. And then we've got episode 78, episode 40, episode 21, episode 15, and episode 12. And those were all live episodes. I'm going deep. Those were all of the live episodes where all 4 of us were in one structure. And there is a uniqueness to that, to all of those. And I suggest you listen to them.
Yes.
Perhaps. I think the St. Patty's Day episode you were sober because you had to drive home.
Probably.
But listen to those in numerical order. Actually go 12, 15, 21, and 40 and 78 because those are the ones.
As long as you're drunk when you're listening to it, it'll be better.
That's true.
And maybe you can understand what I say.
Chrissy's speech gets slower and slower and slower during those podcasts. I'm going to put in a plug for what was it? Which was the one that was live at Road Atlanta with the GDO man?
At Barber.
Or Barber?
Barber with you. We had GDO man on another episode
in Atlanta also, but yeah, I meant the Barber one.
I've got it up. Give me a handful of seconds, but I'm going to tentatively
yelling
say
in the background and
that was
making
Barber.
He's bad mouthing our sponsors because he thought it was a joke.
Thought it was a joke. Exactly.
So we had Krager's on that one too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Some podcasts related to things you can do inside of our show that are here. Recently, we did 126 is about fitness. If you're inside and hey, you're not commuting right now, there's extra time in the day.
Heck yeah.
Work on some fitness.
Hell yeah.
And you may think that you don't have a place to do it. You just have to get creative. That's totally what it is. Because some people, you live in an apartment, you're trying not to go out, you can't go to the gym anymore. Just get creative. There's plenty of actually online things that are now going, they're free for the next month or two that you can kind of almost like a Peloton type thing, but it's not, you don't need a bike. It's like a fitness you join, and a lot of them are free. So
we used to have one called Swork It. There was like an app on the app, and you don't need any extra equipment. It's just you doing stuff. And your body weight is enough for a whole bunch of exercises. Like you can do it incredible.
Totally.
Work
yep,
just
get creative.
I bought some body weight dice. You roll them, and it comes up with exercise.
You did not.
Was it Spencer's? No,
it was no. It's Five Below. Utter mine. You know what? Only people like 40 know that joke anyway.
Oh well.
Yeah, that's a compelling argument.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. So we had our episode 118 was about sim racing, and if you're going to get started in that, you learn the things we learned the hard way. Episode 80 was about reading and books. Everyone likes, especially introverts are in heaven right now. They can't leave the house. They can't do anything. So read some books. Here's some suggestions that we had on books that you might like to read. So those are some E1R centric episodes.
Oh, these are pretty great, actually.
Yeah, I'm showing my body weight dice.
Oh, they're like Dungeons and Dragons
20
dice.
push-ups.
I was gonna say they do look like
push-ups.
20-sided dice.
And that looks like what I made for free out of a cup and a piece of paper and wrote down all of these things, and then I used to pull one out and give one to everybody. Remember?
I don't know what. Yeah, I do like that. I don't know what this is. What is skaters? 15 skaters.
I'll send you a video of it.
Okay, listen to Chrissy, because I was gonna say is that the thing where you slide back and forth in your socks?
No, or
you can do it with shoes too.
Shoes.
Okay.
It's like
anyway, we'll do that off podcast.
Yeah. Okay.
And Jeff, check your phone.
Okay, check my phone.
So should I go into like other categories of stuff that I
don't
think
care.
we should
Do whatever.
I don't care.
Wow. All right.
Totes.
Well, other podcasts that I think that you got to listen to. If you've never listened to This American Life, shame on you. Go do that now.
That's genuinely true. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're a racer, Speed Secrets, Ross Bentley's podcast. He's taking a little break from it right now, but there's 100 and something episodes out there, and it's always good stuff. You'll learn something with Ross. So those are a couple of my thoughts for podcasts. Anyone else has got anything that they...
I got a couple. First, Mental texted me, so I'll give him the credit. 12 was live at Road Atlanta. I didn't realize it was that early. And 21 was live at Barber. So you go check that out. But I'm going to tell you about other things. If you like NPR style stuff, 99% Invisible is one of the greatest podcasts out there. You're all about to roll your eyes, but I'm going to tell you to do it. They have an episode that's probably 3 or 4 weeks old about who let the dogs out by the Baja Men.
That was a good one. Yeah.
And it was a great episode. And it was just about like who invented this stupid song. And it was fantastic. I also love Reply All. If you're into like the internet and tech and stuff, it's just a great lighthearted podcast about some serious episodes. One of my favorite ones, and I think it was JG who told me to go listen to this. JG Pasterjack from Grassroots Motorsports.
Yep. Okay.
So,
who, by the way, has been a guest.
Yeah, of course. He's a great show. But anyway, so he suggested this one, and it was fantastic. And it was where a guy got a spam email about like buy computer virus protection for your computer, and he basically was like, who falls for this? So he started having a conversation back and forth with the scammer, and he ended up like going to India and like meeting them at the scam factory, being like, what is your business model? Like, and they didn't want to meet with him, so he had to like covertly convince them to meet in a restaurant. It's crazy.
He did one too about stealing like unique Snapchat and
I love that
Twitter handle ones, and they ended up talking to the person that stole this girl's Snapchat and whatnot. So anyway,
I'll take the other non-car related. Motley Fool is a money investing podcast, and it's about 30 to 40 minutes. They're come out on Fridays. Really interesting thing to learn about, even if you don't do too much investing, but it's interesting to understand a little bit more about business models. It's really pretty low entry level into investing and kind of understanding where money's coming and going.
It's about to be a great time to buy. Everything's on sale.
Every day I say, is it low enough that we're going to buy?
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at MGM's stock price. Oh, Lord. That is tempting.
Another one is cereal, Serial, not the cereal, not the breakfast food. And In the Dark, they're fairly similar. They are a great story that's told over probably 15, 20 podcasts. Some of them are a little bit on the shorter side, but it's a very engaging story. Both of those very different, but actually Serial, I believe, has two seasons. And then In the Dark is very similar as well. So really interesting stories that will keep you wanting more, and I'll leave it at that.
Are there 3 seasons of Serial or 2? Was S-Town Serial or just
They had
from the
two
makers who
serials,
do-
and they had 2 serials.
Two
and
serials.
S-Town.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
S-Town.
S-Town is
Yeah, and then
related,
And
but
some-
not really.
Some other
Agreed.
NPR ones I'll put a quick plug in for. Hidden Brain is
Like
great.
that one.
The Moth, so the storytelling. Radio Lab.
Oh.
And
If you guys are not NPR listeners, this is killing you.
and
But,
TED
you
Radio
know.
Hour. Yeah.
And here's the
Okay.
thing: is so the Moth, way back in 2013 when I was in the desert, I had a guy come to visit, and he's just one of these ultra conservative types, and I had all these apps all these podcasts downloaded on my phone, and that's what I would listen to on the way into work. And he gets in the car, he's like, "I'm politically opposed to NPR." I'm like, "Why?" They're all liberals, which they are, but so many of these stories have no political affiliation. And I got him hooked on the Moth because the Moth is apolitical. And I get that we probably have a lot of, very conservative red state type people listening to the show. Get over your political reservations, because a lot of NPR is just Americana. It's just storytelling.
Good call.
Yep.
Awesome. Do we have any car-related ones? Did we talk about it?
I said Speed Secrets.
Speed Secrets is a great one. If you've not listened to Tempest, which did 2 seasons, you need to go and listen to
That was good.
Tempest.
Like
That is
Tempest.
David Obuchowski. You've probably read his stuff if you listen to the show, and it's classic storytelling around cars. I love all of that one. I'm a huge fan of The Way I Heard It with Mike Rowe, and you can download an entire year of that show and listen to it in an hour, because they're usually 5 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Those great shows.
Too short for me. I can't do it.
No,
I need them longer.
Missed Apex, which is a European Formula One podcast, but it's very irreverent. They're racing fans, but they're not Formula One. They're Formula One fans, but they're not. They will hold it accountable when they do something stupid. A great one is also Only a Game, which is a sports podcast for people who don't really care about sports. So basically all 4 of us.
Which I don't think
I
they're
like
going to have a whole
sports.
lot to talk about right now,
No.
frankly.
No.
So
No, and they'll probably find something, but their back episodes are great. If you're looking for old back episodes, there's
I think
also
we need to move
Apex
on.
Adjacent. All right,
fine.
moving on.
Yeah.
Pretty
But
much
I
fine,
want to
yeah.
plug one more before we go.
Come on.
It's going to be quick, though. Hello Road podcast.
Come on.
Ethan Tufts, Lemons Racer. He runs the Liam Neeson on the West Coast, and he is like the official internet guy for the Bradley Brownell and Radwood Nation. So go check out his show.
That's legit. Chrissy, as the
Yes.
gourmet chef among all of us, you also had some stuff under your thing that
I do.
I am actually fascinated about.
Okay, so my wrote first, also don't kill your spouse, and make sure you sit with your cat. Those were my 2 things that you should do when you're locked away in social distancing. But I'm getting to my original point is cook something new. I like this idea. Here, how about an idea of play Chopped with your family, right? So everybody know what Chopped is. It's the cooking show that you get a box of stuff that doesn't belong together and then make something out of it. So we truthfully have not actually played the actual game of Chopped, but we do a hypothetical game trying to come up with gross things that don't match in our refrigerator and say what you would make with them. Most of the time they sound fairly interesting and we do a pretty good job. But now's the time to clean out your cabinets, especially if you didn't buy enough food and then in 3 weeks, you might want to do this for the things that you have left in your cabinets. But make sure that you,
Corn nog. What the hell is that?
go in the back of your cabinet, find the thing that you bought a long time ago, thought that you wanted to use and you haven't used yet. And then also, go ahead.
I was going to say I made candied bacon ends. I was smoking some salmon for the wife because she bought a giant plank of salmon because we like doing that. And she was at Sam's Club buying cases of everything because that's what she was doing. And she said, will you smoke salmon for me? I'm like, oh, yeah. I pulled out a chunk of Amish bacon ends. Oh, it was so good.
Oh, so good. Okay. We can't all have that. We can't all have that. But the other idea is, how about like a crock pot meal, or prep something at lunch and eat it for dinner, which is what we did today. We made chili during lunch. I made lunch, and Chris made the actual chili, and we put it all together. We had cooking all day, stirred it every time we got up and to walk around the house, get some more water. We
Somebody stir the pot.
And then we had it for dinner.
Cool.
Yes,
and because
Chris.
we couldn't get ground beef, we could get a big old London broil, and I just cut up little steak cubes and just had kind of like stew kind of chili. It was good. Yeah.
So there are plenty of things you can do when you are sitting around in social isolating. Yes, Mental.
The first weekend we ever met, I ended up staying at you guys' house, the Wartburg weekend. And that Monday you gave me a ride to the airport. And I remember in the back seat of the Mighty Mighty Mazda 3 was a copy of Eating Well magazine. When Chrissy talks about
How does
cooking,
he remember these things?
You like what?
You need,
Really?
you need to listen, because I have never, and I've spent a lot of weekends at your house, and I've never not eaten like a king.
That's
every
true.
time that I'm there. So don't dismiss it because, it's a girl talking about cooking. No, what it is a food enthusiast talking about cooking, and you need to listen.
You're so funny. I have to say this plug for my mother, because she has made me get to the heart of everybody's heart, but through their stomach. That's why I do it.
So let's be honest. We all want to cook. We all want to work out. We all want to get all these projects done. But everybody's just going to be sitting on their iPad.
We should all do Coke.
So when you're done with Pornhub, like 7 minutes later, there are some videos and movies and shows.
That is impressive. Well done, Jeff.
There are 3 minutes of searching.
Topig Love Fest. Nope,
Pig
seen
Love
it.
Fest. That's
Seen
what
it.
I was waiting for.
Seen it.
Seen it.
Seen it.
Seen it.
Seen it.
Oh, new one.
Nope.
Anyway, there are videos, there are movies, there are YouTube channels out there. Let's talk about them real quick.
Oh.
I can't.
Check. Someone breaks with laughter.
Yeah.
Got it.
While everyone's laughing, I'll suggest a show so we don't go too long here. Netflix, serial killers. Every show about serial killers on Netflix. There's a lot of car shows. Some are good, some are great.
Really, while you're trapped with your spouse, you want to binge watch serial
Oh,
killers?
Mindhunter is one of the best TV shows on out there. It's the real life story about the FBI, whatever they call them, the mental crimes unit, whatever. Great. I'm hearing wonderful things about F1 Drive to Survive. It's on my list for the next set of workouts because I am completely done watching the season of Lost in Space, and it was. I think I feel better after watching the porn than I do after watching that. But it was good.
Was it really?
It
Okay.
was.
Anyway, another one that we just watched was the 24 Hours of Le Mans documentary from 2015. It's Amazon Prime. It was fantastic and made me really want to go. And then I can't go.
Wah,
Oh,
wah.
no. Oh, so let's talk about that for a second, because we know that of Le Mans has been postponed until the fall. And because of the way the scheduling is working out, the following literally this weekend is the 24 Hours of Nuremberg Ring. Now, we had we're meeting up with Tetanus and the entire crowd. Our tickets are still going to be good for Le Mans, but I know you guys were looking to spend a week in France, and then me and Giant Dave were going to meet up sometime. But what if we got one of those diesel Chrysler minivans that Chris found on the for sale site, and we get to France just a couple days before Le Mans, check out the Le Mans race with our upcoming press passes, because now I've got plenty of time to bullshit, and then drive straight to Germany for the 24 Hours of Nuremberg Ring. That's a lot of racing, Chrissy, and I know you were all about being in France, but Chris speaks German.
But I'm going to speak French by then, because I'm pretty close to it by now, because I'm going to be already ready for it in June. I was really looking forward to 2 weeks of
I think
vacation.
24 Hours of Nürburgring is a great excuse to go back to Europe another year and do Germany and Switzerland and Austria.
Yeah.
That's what I
There,
think.
now we're talking. Now we're talking.
Okay.
Oh, you do
You could visit Erlang.
He's in Sweden.
We could totally, but it's like Germany's the size of Wisconsin. We could totally drive up to Sweden.
Totally.
It's a little bigger than that, but yeah. Okay. It's about the size of Montana.
Let's talk about other projects, because there are other projects other than your race car.
Go ahead,
Before we do that, because we did mention that Lemons is actually uploading videos weekly, and that is awesome. They are doing some really cool stuff. I discovered this gem on Sunday. On Amazon Prime, there's the James Garner documentary about his racing season when he bought and built a race team called the American International Racers, and it's called The Racing Scene, and it is so 1970s. It is so James Garner. It is brilliant, and it is worth a watch.
Amazon Prime. You already have Prime. Go watch some videos.
Yep.
Other projects.
I think it's a great time to upgrade your trailer, or at least give it a little bit of maintenance, because the trailer is the thing everyone loves to just, you use it, you put it away, I'll deal with it later.
Don't think about it until next time.
And then until a wheel bearing blows on the side of the road, or a tire, or this and that, or you're sitting there in the paddock and saying, I really wish this trailer had, So this would be a good time to do it. Like, I would love to take the plywood walls of mine down and insulate it and run some wiring through it. To have, and I already bought the LED strip lights. The LED strip lights are about $12 for a 20-foot roll. You get those in there. They take 12 volts, which you're already going to have in there. You're going to have 12 volts from the car, from the tow vehicle. So you can rig up some lights in it with that, like that. I've got this freestanding air conditioner heater thing that I just need to put it in and put a vent in for it. So it's all these little things like that. And also pack the wheel bearings, check them, make sure they're tight, adjust the brakes. All those little things that you never really spend the time to do until it's totally hella broken. So this week I bought a bearing greaser press thing.
Is it the 2-cone kind?
Yeah, it's a 2-cone kind. So I bought one of those because I'm sick of having to. I don't like doing it the old-fashioned way. I want to do something better. So I got one of those and some synthetic grease so I could actually do some trailer maintenance,
And how long does it take to repack your trailer bearings?
Realistically,
7 minutes, but 4 of it is searching.
Yeah. I'd say give yourself an hour, because if you're going to do one, you're going to do all 4. And while you have it apart, you're also going to adjust the drums and make sure there's air in the tires and stuff. So give yourself an hour, but in an hour you can probably do all of that.
And as a guy who once had his trailer wheel pass him on his way to the 2007 GRM Challenge, this is an hour you can afford.
You've done some sketchy ass towing, my friend. So
I have.
Yeah. Something about a Hyundai Santa Fe towing a 6 Series BMW on a utility trailer.
Same trailer being towed by an F-150 with a 240SX.
I wonder why the wheel bearings blew. Do you think it was a little overloaded, maybe?
A little bit. I'm just saying, an hour, yeah, you'd have been fine.
Anyway, so here's what I want to do. And I do 10% of this job, and then something gets in the way and I never get to complete it. I have the dream of being the data miner of our team, where I get all the one-laps data and I chart it and I graph it and I color it. I'm and I do a presentation. I get all of us together on a Friday night and I'm let's look at the graph.
Hey, we can have a Zoom meeting.
And it's really hard because, and this is why MyLab sucks. And if you're listening, MyLabs, to be able to download the data into Excel, you can't.
Can't you do cut and paste?
No, when you cut and paste, it distributes really weird, and it takes you 2 hours to get it back into the right columns. And then
your Excel foo is weak. Your Excel foo is weak. I can show you how to do that offline.
No, trust me. I've tried. And my Excel foo is not weak.
Hey, listeners, if you know how to do this and want to school Jeff on it, write an email to Scrappy
Jeff.
R. DeFuji's Jeff.
I still owe them a beer koozie. I got my stickers this week. Those guys are great.
They are.
I was just going to go with.
No, seriously. You can send it
Jeff
to
said,
everyone.racers.
No, totally. When you said I want to be the godfather of data, I wanted to just go laughs and Chris Abbott. But go ahead.
No, that's it. I want to visualize the data from our race team.
Yes.
Yeah. You've gotten pretty close sometimes.
I've done like large swaths of it, but then
Yeah.
I like 2 seasons go by and I haven't like caught up.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's a great thing to do.
Well, do that like when you're not making an engine for the
Or
Z.
after you've ordered parts for the Z.
Please. Thank you.
I'm also a big fan. No one's going to be surprised of house projects. You know, there's always those. There's always plenty. And
Baseboards. I feel like you can never be done with baseboards.
except I am now.
They're done.
Finally.
They're done.
Yeah.
Yay.
Detailing your cars too, especially like get the buffer out, get the clay bar, get the the compound.
I'm
And
hearing the words. I'm not understanding them.
Yeah. So if you do that, it takes some time. It's pretty cheap to do, really, but yet it's quite rewarding when you're all done and it looks great and you feel great about it. Then why not? I think that's a nice thing to do with your time.
I should be saying about how bad of a plan that is, but the worst hobby ever is on this list, and I am reserving my venom for when whoever was going to suggest that they should do gardening.
I said that. I said
Worst
plant
hobby.
a garden.
It is the worst hobby.
It's the worst hobby.
It is the worst hobby if you go too far with it. The way we do it is we just poke a hole in the ground, jam a couple seeds in it.
I'm sorry.
I help.
Did you just say we?
I built the garden.
I don't think you dug a hole the whole time.
I built
It's
the garden.
bugs. It's itchy. It's dirty. And then when you leave it alone, shit grows through and you have to go take it out.
Then you're doing something
worst
wrong. You're doing
hobby.
it wrong.
But then you get vegetables. You get lots of delicious fresh
Vegetables are cool. I'm down with the eating vegetables part.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we do.
And
Vegetables.
also, it's a great thing to make your kids do. Like
Dig this hole.
Now we're talking.
right. Dig this
So then
hole.
they're like, I'm
Dig
dirty
this
and
hole.
tired.
Right. Shut up. Dig more. And yeah, it keeps the kids entertained, and then you get vegetables because then the kids are excited, like that they get to pick the vegetables they ate. They planted.
This is said by people that don't have kids.
They
I'm
don't want to
pretty
eat
sure
the
this is-
vegetables. They're just excited
Oh.
they're there. It's something different.
No. I grew up eating the tomatoes out of my grandfather's. I have attempted to grow vegetables like 5-6 times in my life. I'm like, I'm gonna do veggies. I live in Jersey. I can make tomatoes grow, and like the birds eat them and the squirrels. It's always just abject failure. I mean,
Ours thrive on neglect.
I'm a lemons racer, and I'm saying there's too much fail over there.
Wow.
You've got something wrong is the problem.
Yeah.
You've also got your voice activated on the show notes because it just went back. It's always such an abject failure.
Yeah,
I mean,
right?
I'm a racer and I'm saying there's too much fail.
Fantastic.
Slam my fist down.
The soil here is all sandy, but the previous owners had a compost pile, and I've actually been using the composter, and I'm about to relocate some soil to actually attempt to do exactly that. Probably just flowers over vegetables, but I've got a built-in sprinkler system, and there's no excuse for me not doing that. That I think that's valid.
It's one of those hardships that you just like do it while you have nothing else to do, which is why we're talking about it. And then you have pretty things later. It's like it's not fun. I don't like it, but I like the product.
The same like packing wheel bearings. No one goes, oh boy, I get to repack trailer wheel bearings. But the result is you make it to the race, which is fun. I was 12 years old before I actually ate any vegetables out of a can because my grandfather grew up in the Depression, and he had a plot of land, and he grew everything.
Freedom Garden.
And they put it all in mason jars. And even a year after he died, we still had enough mason jars where I never had to eat canned vegetables. There's something to that.
Oh, we should have done that.
Mm-hmm.
Darn. Now it's too late.
Canning is like quilting. It's like something that used to be done at every house, and now
Yeah.
it's like a dying art.
Yeah.
All right. What else we got on here?
I saw build a new workbench or some garage shelving. I've actually made some.
Idea.
I made some progress on this because my office remodeled. So I took a bunch of the Cube Farm stuff and I'm repurposing it for garage shelving in my garage. And I finally got rid of an oversized workbench that I had that didn't allow 2 cars in the garage. Sold that, and I am now building a more compact but wider work area out of this. So I'll be posting that up. We're going to talk about some of our social media stuff here, but Bill Caswell mentioned a new phrase called quarantine instead of quarantine, just CAR instead of it. And he mentioned, go around, make a video of your car. Why'd you buy it? What do you love about it? Start it up. Let people hear it. Throw this on the social media. Since none of us are racing, we're all going to kind of nerd out on that one. And you can expect to see some of that because I bought some video equipment that I didn't use for the SEMA show. And if you do that, go ahead and tag Caswell318 on the Instagrams and tag Everyone Racers. So we'll start the quarantine stuff. Just about your car. I've got a great car that I love to rev the engine on, and I'll be showing everybody about that. Just make sure those videos are 10 minutes because then YouTube has to pay you.
No one's watching it. Don't make it 10 minutes.
No,
You're
right,
fine.
fair enough.
I love all these plans. I just hope I can finish 6th grade ELA diagram in a sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we? Well, I love Chrissy's last little line here before we get on to just the tip.
Oh,
it's a great way to end the whole thing.
Generic. Yes. Motivate your team members to do other projects that they're putting off, like how the Z. What are you doing the Z? Maybe we should. Chris came up with a whole bunch of ideas of like maybe make new gas jugs, and you really think about all the projects. How about new? We were trying to talk about new radios.
Cart.
So we're like
a fuel cart.
Cart.
Yeah.
Our fuel cart is the exact wrong size. It does not fit 3 cans.
Or
Well, it was
literally
free.
have
When Steve
I
moved,
understand
he said, "Here, take the radio flyer
and
plastic wagon."
sometimes
So we did.
we take other people's carts. So
Yeah.
carts should probably be on our list. But things like this. Think about your team. Think about what you do. Think about what you do poorly. Motivate your other team members to do something with their time. Come together. By the time we're all done with this, we will be ready for racing.
Especially
Like
the teammates that don't have the car. They can do stuff like the cart and the wagon and the fuel jugs and the stuff like that and the radios.
I'm
so everyone needs a
sorry.
radio.
Preferably not people have to fly.
Yeah.
Because, I want those cases in your garage, but
How the heck are you
am I
going to
gonna
get
get
here?
them there?
Yeah,
Right.
incidentally, I had to totally eat that airfare that I bought to come out for the work weekend.
Oh.
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 I
You should
know.
have changed it to freight and sent it some. Anyway. Let's move
Damn
on.
it! I could have sent you your
Show
Pelican.
has gone on long enough. It is just the tip time where we are going to get a safety tip. It has been a while.
I don't think it's been that while.
Like
That
3
while.
weeks,
But
It's been long enough.
Okay. Long enough.
Everyone's desperate for just the tip.
Just the
Tip.
And this one's a timely and helpful one, hopefully, because I'm pretty sure if you are working, you're working from home. So make sure the spaces you are working in for long periods of time is comfortable. So ergonomics, while a very boring subject, is really important. So sitting on your couch with your laptop is nice for a day or two. But assuming that we're in this for the long run, set yourself up somewhere comfortable. And really, to Jeff's point, if you're at the kitchen table, you're probably not going to get much done. So see if you can get a chair and a table. It may not be pretty, it may not be the best, but see what you can do to make it so that it's a little bit more comfortable. Extra monitor is going to be great if you can find one, and make sure you don't have your neck turned weird or your wrist in an uncomfortable position. Just make sure that you're actually sitting. Yeah, I mean, I noticed the keyboard that I'm using today is very uncomfortable. So things like that. If we're in it for the long run, make yourself comfortable. Get up and walk. So I find that I am not walking as much because some days at work, some days you have meetings all day and you're sitting, but there's plenty of times where I'm working. I was walking more at my office than I am at home. So now at home, I have an alarm that sets off each hour. and I have to get up and move around. So it's whether I come down to get water, I walk around the kitchen, I pet the cat, I look outside, I bring some boxes in, do something because I feel like you need to get the blood pumping, and it breaks up your day a little bit. Yes,
well,
Chris.
Like at work, walking to the bathroom is 50 steps each way. Here, it's 5. So.
Yes. So, and then you just move around a little bit, and don't sit weird, right? So if don't usually cross your legs or sit on them, don't do this at home. And really, what it comes down to is make your life like you would be at work. Keep a schedule. Get up at the same time. Actually get dressed. No, not with business casual, but
very, very important when you're dealing with 6th, 7th graders. Like,
if you don't think your students judge you by the way you're dressed, you've never taught.
Sure, right? But if you're going to be on a Zoom meeting, you're just like, at least look like you have cared a little bit. And part of keeping the schedule is don't eat more than you would normally at work. Don't have a beer with lunch. It's all
whoa.
It's all at your fingertips, but stick with what you normally would do. And if you usually have a beer with lunch during the week, you keep that up. You do you.
2 martinis. Thank you.
Sure, if that's how you roll at lunch, then good for you. But typically that's not how I work at lunch, so don't do it while you're at home too. That's what I got.
It's great.
And don't kill your spouse.
I would like to say that on the very first day of work at home, because we have a whiteboard, we put a schedule on it about all the classes, and we began with morning announcements, which is why we haven't heard the bullhorn, because the bullhorn is upstairs.
That is awesome.
And I made Josh do the Pledge of Allegiance before we started.
Holy crap. Now, if only that's going to keep going.
I have a video of it. I will put it on the E1R pages.
That is
you should do a Zoom meeting in the morning. Chris and I will follow suit. We'll do our Pledge of Allegiance. What time does the Pledge of Allegiance happen?
Oh, whenever we're ready. Whenever it's okay.
You're not holding your schedule.
No. We wake up on time. We wake up on time, but we, however long it takes them to eat breakfast, that's after breakfast.
After the bell. That's what Chris
don't
said.
call me for the
Fine.
Pledge of Allegiance. I'll be still asleep.
Okay, got it.
See.
All right. Well, Jeff.
Good morning. Welcome to the morning announcements. A school at home. We have a whiteboard.
Is Jen teaching by then?
No. She said I have to do it. It was 10 minutes until she started teaching, and I was like, well, I'll do it at 9, and she's like, no, do it now. I want to watch it.
Yeah, she's still the student. She's still in the teacher's lounge drinking coffee at that point.
No, she was actually holding the camera. So.
Oh, good.
Well, we'll see where we are next week.
We'll see where we are next week. I want to put in a plug here. How has the COVID-19 debacle world outbreak affected your racing? I really want to tell listener stories here. I think it's important that people are able to vent. I think it's important that people are able to help out. If you're not able to finish if you're not able to finish a project, or you don't have a part that you need, or you need something from across the country and you can't do it, let's use our show to talk about it. Let's use our show to reach out down there. Let's talk about it. So drop a comment on the Facebook page or on the E1R websites, or the email, everyone.racers. You'll hear about it in the outro. Anything else for the good of the order? Do we have any idea what we're doing next week?
We'll see if I'm still alive. That's number 1.
Goes back to that gardening thing. Not so much a thing, but if you've been a previous guest on the show, or you think you have an interesting tale to tell, get a hold of us at everyone.racers. We can't guarantee that we're going to put you on the show, but we'll think about it.
Look, if we do guests, what is Bill going to do?
Copy us again.
Thank you for downloading us, and also go right now, download another favorite podcast, listen to us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone COVID Racers. We also hope you'll join us in the world of driving, racing, and building someday, because someday everyone can be a racer, just not now. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It is totally free, and you have nothing better to do but go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating, or else we'll claim that the car you just won with was owned by somebody else. Even if you hate us, give us 5 stars. Tell us why. If you have any questions or show ideas, or tell us about how your racing world is affected by the COVID, drop us a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. Find us on Instagram or Twitter at everyone.racers. Thanks again, and until next week, keep the shiny side up. Unless there is no shiny side because you're still up on jack stands because the project's not done, then just keep the safety side down.